Hello and welcome to Night of the Dead. It is Wave 70, folks. Woohoo! Wave 70. Now, you're probably straight away thinking, well, what's going on? Why isn't Wave 70 a big thing, a big event? Why isn't it on the stream? Why aren't we having a party, lots of cake, all the things that we usually do to celebrate the big numbers? Why isn't it, on the big screen, as I like to call it when I'm on Twitch? And that's simple. We're going to make Wave 75 the big event for this weekend, because it's 3/4 of a century. And that means we can do something special with Wave 70. And what I mean by that is, when I'm doing a Twitch event, the quality of the stream, the quality of the video has to be lowered because it's a stream, it's not just a pure recording. Which means all of the big events, all of the wave, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever it is, the qualities have not been the best. But they're the ones that get the most views. I mean, we're going to get more people now probably watching this right now that either have never seen this game before or don't follow my channel. And then they'll pop in to see the big numbers and the quality is not very good. So, this is a chance for all of you people that don't usually follow my show to basically get a nice quality version. So, hello, welcome. And we can also take this opportunity when I'm going to go off now and hunt for some more tree branches to talk about the game, talk about, some of the things that I get asked on a regular basis. So the people who have just joined who don't follow the game can get some answers as well. So start with the basics. What is the game? The game is a crafting, building kind of game whereby there is a quest line for you to leave the island and escape. Now, you can do that in about 10 days without too much difficulty. God, there's enough of you today, isn't it? Come on then. Let's be having you. Lots of zombies attacking me. Oh, there's another one coming. Oh, another two coming. So, yeah, you can escape the island. And of course, the island's infested with zombies. And it takes you about 10 days to escape. I have got a separate playthrough, a separate series called the Explorer series, where I did just that. We left the island. So if you want to know how to escape, if you watch that series, it'll show you. It'll show you where all the pieces are that you need to collect, and where you've got to go, and what happens when you escape. So what's different? What's this series about then? Why am I on Wave 70? Well, this was basically the very first game that I launched. The moment I bought the game on day one of its release, I opened it up, went, oh, there's a hardcore mode. Let's do that to start with. Let's see how long I can survive without dying. When I didn't even know how to play the game. Didn't have a clue. And there was no videos out at that point by anybody really to tell me how to have a clue. So it was basically a, let's try and work everything out before I die. And slowly, over the course of 70 waves, I've got to understand very acutely how some of the mechanics work. All of the zombie pathing, things that you can do, can't do, things you need to do, etc. And I haven't died. Now, for those who want to see how close I have come to dying, watch episode 20 and 21. I think those were the two that are the most ridiculous for how close somebody can come without dying. Absolutely insane. And if I was to recommend any 2 episodes on the whole of my channel to watch, episode 20 and 21 would be those. I mean, let's cover something else. Why am I running around beating up bushes with a lightsaber? Probably the next most asked questions that I ever get. Let's cover the lightsaber first. The lightsaber, I have no idea how they have a lightsaber in the show, how they haven't been told to rename it to be a laser sword and to change the sound effects. But here we are. We have a lightsaber. I like using the lightsaber as opposed to other weapons, purely because of the arc of cover. Yeah, the swing arc is quite extensive. If I was to chop down trees, you can see that I can chop down 2 trees at once. This way, if I switch to using an axe, I would have to pick one, and then I'd have to pick the other one. So I do like the lightsaber. It doesn't do as much damage as some of the other weapons in game. I just like it. I can go into in-depth on all of the pluses and negatives of every weapon. Because there are a few, it's the speed that you can run at, it's the speed the weapon swings, it's the type of patterns and maneuvers the weapons do, it's the amount of damage the weapons can do at different upgrades. There's a whole complexity to weapons. If people want to know more, I mean, I have covered it quite a few times on various episodes in the past. But I can do it again. People can just leave a comment in the chat and I will put another episode together after this one. Okay, so next, why am I running around destroying trees or branches? And that's because, strangely enough, in this game, especially the longer you play it, not so much in the first few days, but the longer you play it, you come to realize that tree branches are the most valuable resource in this game. I know that sounds really stupid. There's lots of rails and stuff you need, but the thing is with stuff like copper, once you've built all the traps you want to build, what are you doing with your copper? Yeah? There's nothing more you can do with your copper. You can upgrade your weapons and tools, but then what are you doing with your copper? It's where tree branches, I go through hundreds every single episode. So I need ridiculous amounts of tree branches. And there's a finite amount. People say, there's an infinite amount of trees. Trees don't come back, folks. This used to be a massive forest here. Trees do not come back. Or bushes. Once you've cut them down, that's the end of it. So you have to think about rationing your tree branches and using them wisely. Now, I know some of you are going to jump straight in and go, yeah, but come on. You know, there's all these new machines that they've given you and plants you can grow and you can grow your own plants. You know, tree branches. And the answer to that is, well, yeah, you can. And I've got loads of gardens. It's just all you're doing is you're pushing the need for tree branches to now be a need for seeds and manure. You're just spreading the amount of resources that you need to keep your tree branches going. So they are a great assist to reducing the amount of time I need to go and gather tree branches every day, which I'm very grateful for. But I now have to gather something else every day, yeah? So you're just spreading the types of things you're gathering to be more than one thing. Which is fine because some stuff you get by proxy. You just can't help but pick up some of this other stuff as you're going around. So it's all good. I don't need any more eggs. Just check all this on the floor. If I was to get one thing for the game, if the dev yet again, I was in the early days, I'm pretty sure the dev was watching some of my stuff, but these days I'm not sure the devs bother watching anything. And if devs, if you are watching, I don't mean that negatively. I'm just saying, I mean, you've kind of got the game wrapped up. Yeah, you don't need to be following people's streams and things to see whether something's working correctly or not. But if you are, yet again, as I say every episode, if I could have one thing, it would be a bin. If I could just have a object you could put down that whatever you stick in it instantly disappears, it would stop all of this rubbish just littered everywhere that I don't need, that I have no choice but to throw it on the floor. And then that just eats into, you know, your rendering speed and all the rest of the stuff, and it's just annoying clutter everywhere, and I don't want it, I don't need it, just want to throw it in the bin. I've got more than I could ever want of some of this stuff. But yeah, I keep getting it because it's a byproduct of getting something else I do need. Whew, okay. So what happens? What's the game about then if I'm just staying in the world? And what is this Wave 70 thing all about? Well, every single night you get attacked by zombies. Every night. It's not like 7 Days to Die whereby, you know, there's some wandering zombies and on every 7th night you'll get a wave. Nope. In this game, every night is a horde night. So you need to build bases that can get rid of lots of zombies. And for that, they give you a selection of traps. You can make like melee traps, some ranged traps. These aren't really for getting rid of zombies. And this is kind of for getting rid of a zombie. It attracts them. But the main ones really are your melee and ranged traps. And you use them to kill off the ridiculous amounts of zombies that come and attack you at night. Oh, look at this nice bit of food hanging on the edge of the cliff here. Just died on my spikes. Now, I'm not going to go into in-depth on this episode on Wave 70 as to what each trap type does and what they're good for. But needless to say, different traps are good for different things. You can't just sit there and go, oh, there's one trap that's amazing and you should be using lots of it. It's kind of like, well, it depends what you're trying to do. Different traps are good for different things. So this is my base. They'll run in here. They'll get all squished up and destroyed in these traps. And this is what I class as the trash clearing area. So all the traps in this front area, mainly the cutters, are for one function. To get rid of the trash mobs. Anything that's not a boss. If you're not a boss, I don't want you entering the base proper. I want you dead by here if you're not a boss. So that's why I've got all these cutters and things. And the reason why in front of the cutters are just like floor spikes is just for ease of access to target the cutters over the top of another trap. Yeah, I could put crushers in you here as well and target through, but it's just more things you've got to try and repair or reload to target the things behind. So it's nice and simple, just for killing off the trash. Nothing else. And I also want it quite open, so when you get the massive amount of bosses near the end, and they all, you know, come smashing up here, I want them to have room to kind of do their thing. If I squeeze them into just one single passage, I've had ones pop through the wall. Once down here, we had a flamer pop through the wall. They also get jammed. They start doing damage to stuff if there's too many squeezed into an area. So you kind of just want them to flow nicely and gently through the base, dying on the way. So when they get to this corner now, things start to get jammed up now. We start funneling down to just one zombie being allowed. Or not one zombie, but one foundation of stuff. But these should only be bosses at this point. No trash should be down here. Bosses only. Now, there's several types of bosses. The ones I want to kill off first are the exploding zombies. They don't have many hit points. They don't... You know, they're reasonably easy to kill compared to the fact these are Wave 70, so they got ridiculous amounts of hit points anyway. But of all the bosses, they have the least. So that the traps that are here, especially this row of guillotines here, are really meant to just kill off those exploding zombies. Get rid of them. I don't want them going too deep, because when they die, they do damage to traps They won't do damage to metal walls, but they'll still do damage to the traps. So I want to come to one place to repair those traps in the middle of a mass fight. I don't want to be running around the whole base in the middle of a mass fight trying to repair stuff. I want to focus on repairing some things at the front, repairing some things by here. That's enough. Yeah, because you've got to manage those tree branches. Don't be repairing everything. Just the things you need to repair. Right, then from this point onwards, the only bosses that should be going through are butchers, the big green guys, and the big sort of like yellowy red guys, or whitey red guys. So they'll come down here, they'll come down here, there's lots of like guillotines and things going off. They'll come down here, come down here, come down here, run all the way down here, pendulums and stuff, up onto the back. They've never made it up here yet, but up onto the back. Oh, we got a bit of damage there. Not quite sure how that's happened. Maybe I've hit it by mistake. Run along the back here, run inside, back into the maze again, back up the maze, around, back down the maze, and eventually they get to what they're after, which is this bait. They're smelling this lump of rotting meat, and it's more attractive to them than I am. If this wasn't here, they would happily eat me, but while this is here, they will come and destroy this instead. When they succeed in destroying this, they will then path up here into this area, which is where I can come and reload and repair things, and they will run down here, and they will run over here, and then they will run up here to eat this one, the second bait. And I usually stand here. So when I'm fighting here and doing my thing, sometimes I can run over here and do my thing here. I can also actually do it from the back and do it in here if I really wanted to. I can never see the need to do that, but I could. And of course I can run into here and kill them in here. But they would just run straight past me if I was on here and go for that other bait. Once they destroyed that second bait, they will come and kill me. But usually by then, if that were to happen, I'll be long gone. Just legging it across the area to try and... Well, in the past, I would have said to lead them through traps. Because usually I have down here on the main road a series of traps that I can run them through. And I'll actually put a few down for this episode, just a couple. They'll come through there on wave 0 at the beginning of the fight, and a couple will die, and then they'll run out of reloads. But if I have to flee, I can chase all the zombies around. They'll all follow me, try and bring them in a nice long conga line, and then I can come back through here, quickly press R and reload a few of these and drag them back through the traps, then back up, back around, back along. And I've done this before in the past whereby I've just had to run for hours on end if the base fails. The base should not fail. The base will only fail if I've really messed up and I've got something really wrong. This base should chew up wave 70 and spit it out and not even think about it. But it's always a good plan to have an escape option. Always have an exit. So that's my exit. Okay. I mean, some people might say, why aren't you reloading some of these traps? Why aren't you using some of your resources to get these traps like I see here that, I mean, it's only got 30 of 100 left and... Well, why? Why use one of my tree branches to put this back to maximum when it's still got 45 more attacks to make? That's just a waste of resources. And this is a resource management kind of game, especially with tree branches. So unless something needs to be repaired or reloaded, I can leave it. I can reload it when it's done some work. Right. I think that's covered all the basics. That's covered the game, where we are, what's going on. Oh, one of the other things I want to cover, as a question I get asked, is about gaps. Gaps between things. Now, this is a gap, okay? That's what you call a gap. a zombie will not path across that gap. It's too large. I can jump across it. If the bait wasn't here and it was just me and a zombie was by here close to me, especially if it was a runner, a fast one, or it was one of the ones who has a charge attack or a leaper, then me jumping across this would not save me. Especially on something like legend difficulty where they're extremely fast, they would just fall straight across. Not all of them, but if they were really close by, they would try and go for me. A charger would probably make it. A leaper would definitely make it across here. And sometimes some of the really fast runners, it's probably a bit too far for them. But if they were further away, further back, they wouldn't even attempt it. Yeah. They will try and find a different way to get to me because that gap is a no-no. So gaps are based on distance away the zombies are. The further away the zombies are, the smaller the gap can be for it to be valid to break pathing. The closer the zombie is to you, the bigger the gap needs to be to break pathing, okay? So always remember that. So if you see now and again stuff like, oh, let's have a look. Like this little step here, that will not break pathing. Okay? The zombie will completely ignore that, even at the distance, even miles away. That is not a broken path. That, because I can just walk it, is a solid path. Little gaps like these are not broken paths, okay? That is not even a node. A node basically is a tenth of the tile. That's not even a node wide gap there. Zombies will completely ignore it. That is not a broken path, okay? The only time you get broken paths is when you're talking a node or greater, and then it's based on the distance the zombies are when they're trying to path. And because bait, this stuff, only has a radius of about 5-6 tiles, 6 floor spaces, they're not going to try and path to the bait until they're close. So you could even have a gap of a node and they'll still path to the bait. So don't count on gaps protecting you. They only protect you based on the distance the zombie is when it tries to do its pathing algorithm. I just wait for these last few zombies to come up, and then I'm going to go out and gather more tree branches, because sadly that's my day, gathering tree branches. But I will skip the episode forward until we get to the wave. So, just wait for this zombie to die. Bye-bye, zombie. Bye-bye. There you go. Right, I will see you all again in a moment. Hello, and I'm back again. So it's not quite that time for the horde, but what I tend to do on my episodes is I take a quick break and I read through some of my comments to see if there's things in the comments that I could answer during an episode that could help both new and old players alike. So there's just two quick things. One is lighting. As in, I get quite nice lighting in my base with regards to the zombie attack, considering the fact it's the middle of the night. And to achieve that, it's just a case of where you're positioning your lights. You do not want your lights this side of you. Let me show you. If you look at that railing there, the light is on this side of the railing, so the railing reflects the light and just becomes a white sort of like mesh. If the lighting is behind and above, the railing doesn't reflect the light, and you can see the area behind quite nicely lit. So yes, this is a lighting trick for you. You always want your light to be the other side of you, lighting up above and beyond these walls, not this side of you, because you just get glare back. Okay. Another thing that I get asked is POIs, otherwise known as prefabs, and why am I not using one, etc. And my views on them. So simple. Prefabs are awesome. Prefabs can make you some of the best bases in the game. Extremely tough. Let me just explain to new players. The prefabs are pre-existing buildings they cannot be destroyed. They're basically part of the terrain. They're not destructible. Some of the inner walls are destructible, but the buildings themselves are not. So that makes them like really powerful bases. You can make some really good, strong bases by using a prefab. In my Explorer series, I use a prefab. So you're probably asking, well, why haven't I relocated to a prefab by now for this series? And it's simple. This is the life of a content creator. I have a decision and a choice. Do I want people in my comments constantly saying to me, why aren't you using a prefab because you can make a stronger base? Or do I want people in my comments saying, oh, you've taken the easy option out, you're using a prefab. If you're playing hardcore, why aren't you, like, you know, duking it out there on your own without using a building? So it literally is just a case of which kind of comments do I want as a content creator, and I'll just go with a look. I'll make a base without using a prefab. Prefabs are awesome and they can give you good bases. I just need to show, I suppose, you can make just a good base without using a prefab. But I mean, on my Legendary series, I'm trying to do the same and not use a prefab. But I think on my Legendary series, I'm going to have to use a prefab. Just because the amount of damage the zombies are doing is just so ridiculously high. A standalone base just can't take the damage, really. It just gets beaten up. So there you go. That's all of my comments, really, that I think would be useful for new and old players alike. And we still have about 8 minutes before the wave, so I will skip ahead. Okay, here we go. So we're just about to start the wave. For those new to the game, yet again, in the top right-hand corner, you will see, it'll say, I have survived so far for 69 days, 23 hours. That's how long you survived for. So in a moment, I'll be hitting wave 70. You'll see a skull with a white line around it. There's a little teeny gap on that white line. When it fills, the wave starts. So when that line is solid all the way around, the wave will begin. And eventually, around about the 2 o'clock in the morning area, plus some time, that white line will disappear. And that's when the wave officially basically ends. Now, down below, you will see I've got, in the distance, there's some palisades, some stone ones. Behind those palisades are 3 cutters. So when the wave starts, we won't get zombies coming to us straight away. And you're probably asking, well, why have you got 3 cutters down there? Well, in the past, I've had an awful lot more than 3 cutters, but due to a pathing issue on wave 66, we lost them all. But they are really useful for just removing some of the early trash mobs. Just get rid of them. They're not going to go down there and refill them or replenish them, so they're not going to last long. But they'll clean out a few of the early trash mobs. Just because I don't want so many trash mobs in my base. It's as simple as that. So the wave has started. As you can see, it now says I've survived for 70 days. This is wave 70, and that line around the skull is full. So here goes. So the initial zombies are spawning over there somewhere. I used to have a roof that would go all the way across so we could see. Due to some recent changes, I don't have that. I will be rebuilding the roof so I can go over there and see. But that'll be for the weekend when I, hopefully, as long as I'm still alive, stream on Twitch wave 75. The big one, the 3/4 of a century. I do hope everybody can make it to wave 75. It is going to be a serious party. If it's a bit late for you, then wave 74 will also be streamed before it at a slightly earlier time, and I will start partying on 74. So the party will start on wave 74 and we'll just continue. Definitely be worth joining in for. We will have a good time. We'll have quizzes and all kinds of crazy stuff. Now I can see some zombies starting to come down the road. They still might get thinned out by those cutters while they've got some charges. But soon those cutters will fail and they will be coming up here. I mean, well, you've got a moment now before the action really starts. Click the old subscribe. Oh, here comes an exploder. Click the old subscribe and the old like and all the other goodies. Click the bell if you make sure you don't want to miss anything else. You can watch that exploder. Go for it. Go on, exploder. Keep going. Go on, you can make it. He's getting chewed up by that shredder. And those cutters, they'll all hit him. He's not going to make it any further. He's going to go boom, surely. Surely he's going to go boom. Can't believe he was alive that long. Okay, we don't really have much else. Just a few basics come up. Here comes another one I can see on his way up. It's just a basic one. Missing an arm. He's had an arm cut off. Oh, that's a butcher over there. The butcher was going for it. Right, okay. Butchers and exploders. So a lot, by the looks of it now, I would have said the shredders down below, oh, sorry, the cutters down below would have run out of most of their uses. Their charges, like, they have 100 charges before they need a reload. So here we go. Bosses, bosses, bosses. Taking a run through the old base here. As I said before, the trash mobs, which are these ones you can see here. I don't want these trash mobs making it into the base, yeah? I want them all to die by here. The only things I want to get deeper are the bosses. Mainly because you got traps like guillotines that do loads of damage, but only have 10 charges. And I want them to be spent on bosses, not to be spent up on just rubbish. I will switch to my flamer. If things get bad, I will be using my flamer. And on wave 2, you will see how many zombies there are. I will have to use my flamer. But I will explain why I use my flamer when I do. Everything's okay at the moment. There's no point recharging traps and reloading them when they've still got uses. That's not very efficient, yeah? You're just expending tree branches that you're gonna need. I know I'm carrying 1,000 tree branches on me, but I'm gonna go through probably 100, 200, especially with the repairs after the battle. So there's no point using tree branches when things have still got charges, especially if your base is big enough to allow for traps to not be functioning. I can stop recharging a lot of these and everything would be fine. But all that would happen, as I said, is the trash zombies would use up a lot of the charges I got on far superior traps that I don't want to run out of charges on. All good so far. My cutters are just shredding all of these trash zombies. Some of the bosses, like that's a boss in front of me. He'll probably make it past these, but sometimes not. Getting a little quiet lull for a moment now before the next crazy amounts of zombies turn up in a minute. Oh, this is fine. For those who are wondering about how many zombies we get, this is the calm bit before the storm. You don't really get the big amount of zombies until 2 o'clock. I'm just going to pop back here and just check on some of this stuff. Oh, replenish that. See, it's a guillotine. It only has 10 charges, so I do pop back and recharge them, but not that often. Bunch of exploders going through now. The exploders will do damage to traps. They don't do damage to metal walls, but they do damage to traps. So you have to repair your traps every now and again, otherwise you will lose your traps. Everything's okay so far. Going well. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reload. And that one. That one's got plenty. It's still got 50. Plenty. 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 10 out of 25. That one's out. Okay, get that one back active. Boom. Boom. Nothing here needs repairing, really. Nothing to worry about. There shouldn't be any issue with the stuff inside the base until that main force hits. Now, I have some ballista bolts on me today, so I am going to load up my ballista at the 2 o'clock mark. I haven't done that for the last few days, but I will this episode. Mainly because it'll actually thin out the wave of bosses, so I don't get such a bunch up. Now, in some ways, that's less fun for you, the audience. I mean, when there's a massive bunch up, it's really cool. It looks cool. It's crazy. Everything is going off. Makes great content. And if I wasn't playing hardcore mode, that would be fine. It's just, I've got to have a little bit of, be on the side of caution. Don't get yourself killed for no reason at all. So at 2 o'clock, I will load up the ballista to help thin out the bosses. It won't kill the bosses, but it'll push some of the wave back, which means I'm handling less at a time. Less bosses at once. Everything's going fine here. Just keep checking. I'm going to repair that. It's a little bit damaged. I mean, it didn't necessarily need repairing. It's just I'm probably not going to go back and check it anytime soon, so I'd rather just err on the side of caution, let it actually have some hit points back. Seven, 10, 9. 3. There you go. And that one back up. When we're doing the stream, we call out Hot Sausage Fun in the stream chat when we want Meet the Flamethrower. And at this point, usually when we're doing our, our streaming stuff, I'll be flaming all the zombies and we'll be having great fun doing that. So definitely turn up for the streams. Much more interactive. People get me to dance. People get me to swap my weapons and all kinds of crazy stuff. Okay, so the blisters are going off now. The bosses aren't here yet, but I'm not going to wait until the bosses are on top of me to load those ballista up, because it'll be too late. It will be too late at that point. I will be in a world of hurt, and no time to be messing with ballista. Let's get that one back up and going. Get this one back up on full. Oh, that one was 3. 4. Right, the bosses will be here any moment, so I need to get to the front. Yeah, I need to get to the front. You'll know when they're here. There'll just usually be just a mass of them coming up over the hill. They'll just be charging into my base. But as I said, the ballista will actually make it slightly easier. There will be not so many at once because they'll keep getting knocked back. So here they come, I think. So it'll just be a steady flow now because of the blister. They're not here yet, actually. I can see more behind. I mean, they might have already have got here, as I said. The blister do a great job of thinning out the wave. They really do. These are all trash. Lots of trash. Not really seeing many bosses. There's a couple of bosses here again now. Some more bosses. Nothing too scary. Still not many bosses, actually. This is quite quiet. I'm not sure where all the bosses are. Even with a blister, I should be having way more bosses than this. We could be in for another quiet one. You do get quiet ones now and again. I mean, seriously, where are the bosses? No, come on. You can't be serious. Where are the bosses? No way. That was wave 70. Oh, I've had scary if it been wave 20s. Okay, folks. Well, there you go. That was wave 70. Wow. I'm amazed how quiet that was. I didn't even have to flame once. Not once. Just wow. Got a couple of traps out here. We'll go through the base in a minute and just see how far they got. But the scary thing is usually when you get a quiet one, the next one is like a busy one. I'm just quite surprised that on a 70 it was quiet. Yeah, there's a few dead uns down there, but wow. Okay, let's see how far they got. So all the trash died up here. Bosses come through here. Bosses died. Usually they do about here. A couple got through to here. Did they get any further? No. No, there wasn't enough of them to force their way any deeper than this shredder. I mean, that's as far as they got. Which is, to be honest, on the scale of my base, nowhere. Nowhere at all. That's not even like, they haven't even started to navigate my base at that point. So there you go. Wave 70. A little bit of a you know, what would you call it? I've lost my train of thought completely now. Anticlimax. God, that took ages for me to think of that for some reason. Too busy trying to do many things at once by picking up treasure and talk to you as well. So, oh, here comes some. This is a daytime spawn. This isn't even the wave. This is just the next day. So there you are, folks. Wave 70 done. Definitely make sure that you are on the Twitch stream this coming Friday for wave 74 and 75. Whether we have horrendous amounts of zombies or whether or not we have a little no-show like this one, we will have a great time. Lots of fun, quizzes and all kinds of stuff going on. So try your best to be there and I will see you then. Bye.